Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lucore Automotive. Today is a very, very special day because my 2003 Pontiac Vibe GT, I know, it's your favorite vehicle we've ever worked on, is back in one piece. In previous episodes, you saw me going on a 2500 road trip, and you saw my friend Travis explode my car at about 7,000 RPMs, exploded second gear, and then it was all downhill from there. But we got the car back, we got the transmission out, we tore the transmission apart and found out that there were no teeth left on second gear. And various other things were quite worn out. It was a 250,000-mile transmission. So, the car was kind of in limbo at that point in time. What are we going to do with it? Does it make sense to just sell it with a blown transmission? Again, the engine's got a 250,000 miles on it. The body kit's probably worth something. And it's got a brand new set of wheels and tires on it. It's got brand new brakes on it, power stop stuff. So maybe that was an option, but I would probably lose my butt on that. Or do we put a new trans in it? You have options there. Do you rebuild the one that came out? Unfortunately, the pieces, parts, and things that we're going to spend on it are pretty expensive. Do you buy one that's going to be like a rebuilt unit from a transmission rebuilder, which is unfortunately going to be definitely expensive, probably about as much as I spent on the car? Or do you buy a used transmission and cross your fingers? Well, in my case, the nice thing about the Vibe community is there's a Vibe community. There are truly a lot of people that are out there that are actually enthusiasts of these vehicles. And one of those people in the local area here in Central Ohio happened to have a 6-speed transmission for a Pontiac Vibe GT, which was at a pretty fair price. Bonus, that gentleman actually happened to have the clutch, flywheel, pressure plate, and all the bolts that came along with it, and he gave me those as well. So I bought it all for a good price, brought it back here, tossed the transmission back in. Unfortunately, the flywheel is pretty badly cooked, and we don't have anybody that does flywheel resurfacing here in Central Ohio anymore. So ended up buying a brand new Luke flywheel, reused the clutch, reused everything else, and we're back in business. She is rolling once again. So I get to enjoy my little 29 mile per gallon Pontiac hot rod wagon, which I gotta be honest, I do truly enjoy this car. So we're gonna get this thing fired up. We're going to run it through its paces, see how things are going, make sure everything is copacetic, and then I can get back to enjoying my little Pontiac Vibe GT. If you're interested in a little bit more about this project, I promise I won't keep you real long today, but let's go enjoy my Pontiac, shall we? For those of you who are not familiar with this car or have any idea why I'd be interested in it, I give you the 2ZZ-GE. You've all heard of the 2JZ. This is not what that is. But this is a 2ZZ, and it's actually a very, very powerful little four-cylinder. This is a 2003, and it made about 180, 190 horsepower in 03 out of 1.8 liters, which is really, really impressive. And the way it did that was by an awesome rev range. This car will run to over 8,200 RPMs from the factory. Comes with a factory 6-speed manual transmission. It's actually quite a good little machine. And it gets 29 miles per gallon. I got 28 miles per gallon driving this thing on the tail of the Dragon in Blood Mountain Road, and believe you me, I was not being gentle on it. If you don't believe me, watch our 2500 road trip videos. At least all of it up until halfway through day 6 when the transmission exploded. But it's actually a really, really nice motor. It's a really, really cool piece of tech. This thing has 250,000 miles on it plus, and it still purrs like a kitten. And that's really one of the reasons I wanted to bring this car back, because it's actually really fun to drive, and it's fun to push it up in those rev ranges. And honestly, it's also the most fuel efficient thing that I own, which probably says something about me. So let's get this guy fired back up, and let's go for a drive, shall we? Oh, it's good to be back in this thing. She's alive! She's alive! Oh, it feels so good to have this thing purring again. However, we do have a bit of a exhaust leak. I'm in Central Ohio. We use a lot of salt on the roads here. Exhaust system's rotten pieces. There is the joint between where the muffler assembly and the mid-pipe assembly come together. It may or may not have rotted apart. Welcome to Ohio, where the players play, and we rust on the streets like every day. Just purring like a kitten. I'm so proud of this little car. So proud of this little car. I don't know if you could tell, but it did start to crank really slowly. So I am gonna test this battery real quick before I get out of here, because it's getting cold and I've already been stranded once this week when my ignition system on my Pontiac Le Mans fried and had to hike back a mile to the shop in the cold. So I'm gonna shut this thing back off real quick and test this battery so I don't possibly get stranded if I'm out and about and I have to shut the car off and it doesn't restart. So give me a minute. Yeah, so even after charging it, the battery's still not great. It does not hold a charge. So we're going to go ahead and replace that. Fortunately, somebody previously has broken off my battery hold down piece, so it's really easy to get the battery out. And it is a value power, which is going to be like your cheapest thing you can buy from Walmart. And at this point in time, I don't know how old it is. It doesn't have a born on sticker on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace it. It's a 35 series battery. We happen to have one here at the shop. So Rich, I'm going to owe you for another battery. I'm going to pull this one out and we're going to put a new battery in it. That way I know I can drive this thing. It's not going to leave me stranded, especially as the winter decided to kick back into full steam here in Ohio. So let's get our battery replaced real quick, and then we'll finally get to go have fun with this car. Anybody else ever had that point in your life where like every challenge you could possibly face decides it wants to show up at the same time? That's kind of me right now. That's how my week is going. Actually, honestly, how this year is going so far. So I'm gonna be smart and avoid some of that. Ooh, yeah, we've got some pretty decent corrosion there, as you can see on the battery. She's pretty seriously corroded on both positive and negative sides, so that's not great. We'll go ahead and coat the other battery, make sure it's going to be good. This terminal could probably stand to be replaced and cleaned up. I'll hit it with a brush real quick and we'll put her back together. But note to self, probably need to replace that end. I really just want to get an easy win on this video with this car. I feel like I'm probably jinxing myself by saying that, but I really just, I want to get an easy win. I really, really do. I want to drive off into the sunset as the day is ending, as the week is ending, and just enjoy my little $2,500 car that I now have $5,000 in. Alright. No need to take that thing too terribly tight. No oogas or doogas. Now let's start her up and go for a drive. Purrs like a kitten. I hate to say this, but it sounds like I've got a bearing on a pulley going bad. It's fine. It's fine. Let's go for a drive. Yep, engine oil is exactly where it needs to be. I did put all new fresh stuff in this, so we should be good to go. I did not change any of the fluid in the trans. Didn't open it up, didn't look at anything, no nothing. Mostly because I didn't want to start dissecting that transmission, which may or may not be smart. I want to just, it seemed like it engaged and everything was okay. I want to see whether or not this thing works and goes through the gears. If it does, then we probably should put some new transmission fluid in it, just to kind of make sure that it lasts. And I want to see whether or not it leaks anywhere. So shakedown is where we're going to do that. Let me know what you guys would prefer. What do you like to see as far as your transmission fluids in these 6-speed Toyota transmissions? Let me know. Let's get fired up, get on the road. I'm excited to have this thing back. You know, sometimes it's the cheap little crappy cars that really get under your skin. This one did for me. We've got clutch pedal. We've got first gear. That's a good sign. No check engine lights are on, which we'll see whether or not that continues. Clutch engagement feels good. We're up to temp. Yeah, buddy. Clutch engagement feels real nice. That's fourth. Feels great. There's fifth. That's sixth. All right. We got all 6 forward gears. That's good news. I'm very excited. So let's put this thing through its paces a little bit. I don't want to beat on it too badly. Again, brand new flywheel, used clutch, but it looked like it was pretty new. But my engagement feels good. I did not replace any of the hydraulics. If anybody's asking about that, a lot of times people will do the clutch master cylinder and slave cylinder when they're doing these. I did not replace those. These are the original ones that were on the car. They feel fine. They always felt fine before. They're not that big of a deal if I decide I ended up wanting to do one. At this point, I would say my clutch pedal feels fine, so I don't really need to. So I'm happy so far. Feels good. Now you may hear some noise when I'm shifting. That's because this shifter knob is not exactly professionally installed. But it's carbon fiber, so you know, for the weight savings, it's nice. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix that. I haven't gotten around to that yet. Happy. You know, this thing is not the fastest car I own by a long shot. It's not the coolest car I own by a long shot. But it is just a fun little car, and it's super comfortable. I forgot how nice these seats are. I've been driving around in a 2001 Volkswagen Passat, which is a nice car I bought. It's a wagon as well, and I'm a wagon guy. It's nice, but it's not nearly as comfortable as this. Those seats over an hour and a half are very uncomfortable. Let's give it a little bit of beans, shall we? Not bad. Not bad. Again, I don't want to beat on it too badly, and that was only like half throttle, but so far I'm pretty happy. So far I am pretty happy. gonna give this thing a little bit of beans here. You can see I'm not even coming anywhere near that 8,200 RPM red line. This thing really is built to run up high in the RPM range. I'll be honest, it is a little unnatural driving something that revs that far, especially when most of the stuff I'm driving is like, you know, old school American V8 stuff. So you don't come anywhere near 8,000 RPMs. But this thing loves it. I mean, it absolutely loves it. It comes alive at like 6 grand, and it just pulls and pulls and pulls. Yeah, baby. Oh, it's good to have this car back. So much fun. If you've ever heard the question, better a fast car slow or a slow car fast, 100% the answer is a slow car fast. 100%. This thing is just a blast, man. It's so cool. I'm probably in the very small minority of people that think that, but I love it. And it's great to have this car back. Plus, that little pull right there probably would have cost me, I don't know, half a gallon of gas in my Pontiac or the AMX. And this thing is just, it's barely a thimbleful, man. Let's get this thing on the highway. See how she behaves. Also, make sure that no engine lights come on. Check engine light. I knew it was too good to be true. Dang it! Always got to be something that rains on my parade. Okay, now I'm expecting a check engine light to come on because that's probably my recurring P0420, which is my rear O2 sensor. Probably. But I am going to behave myself on the way back to the shop just to make sure that I'm not doing anything I shouldn't be doing to anything that's going to be in trouble. Clutch feels great. Transmission feels great. That portion of the repair, I'm good with. We're fine. I'm happy. Yes, we're good. I'm not at all concerned. I'm happy with it. We're good. Now let's responsibly drive back to the shop, see what that check engine light is, and make our decision on what the next phase of this car is. What do I do with it now that it's back up and running? When we get back to the shop, we'll talk about it. Let's go through the gears just one more time on the way home. Listen to that 2ZZ sing. All right, let's go get our code scanner and see what's going on. What am I? Idle is staying so high. Huh. Usually it idles a little under 1,000. Well, great. Wouldn't be hot rodding if it didn't leave something for you to do, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. Place your bets. What do we think my check engine light's going to be? Am I going to get lucky? Is it just going to be the P0420, or is it going to be something different?
Now, all we did is just replace the transmission and flywheel. Didn't do anything else. So, hopefully, there's nothing else going on here. Pontiac. Manual ID. 2003 Vibe. L code. I've done this before, can you tell? Engine. Display codes. Hey, look at that. 14.1 volts. That's good news. We're charging. Current codes. Oh no! P1693. No! Tachometer circuit low voltage code. According to this, it's either a headlight bulb, a battery, or a variable valve timing control. Well, we've already fixed that code once before. Looks like I need to go back into the engine on the driver's side, pull that little filter out and see whether or not that filter's clogged back up. And if it is clogged back up in just a couple thousand miles, that's going to point me towards we probably have some sludge in the engine that's causing this to be a recurring issue. Interestingly, I didn't have the O2 sensor code, but I may not have driven far enough to kick that. That did happen because of the fact that I kept it up there in the RPMs, which is partially the reason I tested that, was to be able to see whether or not that came up. So, we're not done yet. We still got more Vibe stuff to do. At this point, I think I'm happy with the transmission. That's good. Now, this is where I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think I should do with this car? It has 253,000 miles on it. 254,000 miles on it. Transmission has about 150,000 miles on it. Clutch and flywheel are basically brand new. Wheels, brakes, and tires are all basically brand new. Nothing else has been touched on this car. I'm in it for about $5,000 all told. What would you like me to do? What do you think I should do with this thing? Should I leave it alone and just daily driver it and enjoy the 29 miles per gallon and don't worry about it? Should I do some maintenance stuff? And if so, what? I think I definitely should replace the fluid in the trans. Let me know what you want me to do for that. But, you know, I have a really unnatural desire to maybe do some stuff with paint and make this thing look prettier, do some body work. I've never gotten into that world. Maybe that would be kind of fun. For me, it's just kind of a side thing. Obviously, I need to fix the exhaust hole issue because the exhaust is rusted, so maybe do some custom exhaust work for it. I don't know what these things really sound like, what the best sounding exhaust is for these things, but I'm into that. I'm okay with that if that's the thing. Above all of that, what about the 250,000 mile motor? Does it make sense to do much of anything with that motor? I have no idea when timing has been done. I have no idea of maintenance history of this motor. I've never even done a compression test on this motor, so I don't know. But I think it could be fun. I mean, even imagine this is like a kind of a track car would be kind of fun, maybe. I don't know. You tell me. What do you want to see? Advise me. I'm not real good at making good decisions. There's a reason I'm the founder of the Church of Bad Decisions. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming along with me. Oh, by the way, just for anybody asking, it does go into reverse, then backs up just fine. We're good. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely comment. Let me know what you want me to do with this thing. What do you think I should do? We'll go from there. Thanks for everybody hanging out with me on this. Thanks for everybody cheering me on, getting this car back in one piece. I'm glad there are people that are interested in this. And the Vibe community, the Matrix community, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you all so much for supporting me. It's been very, very cool to be a part of your community on the internets, and for your thoughts and your advice on all this kind of stuff. So lots more to come. I'm not done with this car yet, for sure. There's I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but there's more to come. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.